This is the TAF Hub, a show brought to you by TAF Africa Global to educate you on real estate matters, to mentor you and inspire you.
After 48 years of working and also traveling all over the world, I am ready to share my experience with you, especially those young ones who follow me for inspiration.
Ladies and gentlemen, this maiden graduation of the first cohort of 153 trainees of CRAB ISLAND TVET Center, being celebrated today as a milestone, is the result of the convergence of support and timely intervention of partners who embrace the initiative designed to build the capacities of young people. These partners were all forthcoming in their support, which resulted in securing part of the premises of the former school, rehabilitation of the infrastructure by MRC Holland Foundation, provision of tools by TICA, the Turkish International Coordination and Cooperation Agency, of course through the support of His Excellency the Ambassador, who opened the doors for us. He was the one who linked us to TICA. So the TICA intervention is thanks to him. Of course, the tools, the TICA intervention provides tools, equipment, and they're the ones who furnish the administration with equipment, office equipment and furniture. Resources, some organizations provided resources, subvention from the government to the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education, and scholarships from the Ministry of Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology, and the Youth Empowerment Project. I wish to take this opportunity once again to acknowledge all these partners who have been supporting the initiative from the initial stage to date. Let me name them again. These are namely the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education, Ministry of Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology, and I guess the Minister is here will tell you more about the collaboration, the support, the partnership that exists between CRAB Island and the Ministry of Higher Education, which has purview over Tibet education in this country.
Yes, it's very hot, but the light is shining here in Banjul, the land that produced the Edward Francis Smalls, the first Gambian to enter the House of Representatives out there. So it is the same Banjul that is offering you the entrepreneurs that I mentioned earlier on. And I strongly believe that from this group of people, from this Banjul, this TVET Center, we will be also having the Afi Allens, the tough guys, and soon from the graduating students.
Hello and welcome to another TAF Hub. Today I have a guest. Who is very well known to the public, both in the Gambia and abroad. But apart from everything else, he's a brother. We live together in Banjul, one compound next to each other. So when they talk, I hear it, and when I talk, they hear me. So welcome, Honorable Sillah, to the TAF Hub. Kindly talk to our guest and tell them who you are.
Well, Ousman Sillah is someone who's from the Gambia and was born and bred in Banjul and did my schooling there in Banjul, and coming from a family that imbued in me values that we cherish and often reminisces, and I am very proud to have come from such a family with such an upbringing. I had a mother, a solid mother, as our mothers, you know, have been. We had fathers who were workers and concentrate mainly on their work, but it was the mothers who really did the training, who contributed largely in building us or nurturing us to become who we are today.
Excellent. So let me ask you, Honorable Sillah, what motivated you to become an assembly member for Banjul North? And how did that experience prepare you for your current role as the chairman of the CRAB Island TVET Center? So I put two questions together.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for that question. But let me tell you also that I have never nurtured the ambition to serve in political office. But I have been active politically because I believe that the Gambia that we live in, we can get a better Gambia than the Gambia that we live in. But we can only get that when we have leaders, political leaders, who will guide the process, political leaders who are committed, who are focused, who are ready to give their all, their best, to bring about that Gambia where every Gambian will be proud to be a Gambia, to call Gambia home. That is my ultimate objective. That's my mission in life. So, and I believe I was serving it by being part of a political party, People's Democratic Organization for Independence and Socialism, DOI, of course, and that very active. But like I said, it has never been an ambition for me to serve in political office. I have been helping people, identifying people to serve, to contest elections in order to serve in political office. So it all happened after 2016. I played an active role as in the coalition process, as my party was also a coalition partner, one of the parties that was constituted the coalition 2016 that brought about 2016 change. I was very active in the process, and before the elections, during the elections, I was the campaign manager for the coalition parties for Banjul and KM, the whole of KM and Banjul. And after that, during the impasse, I was also given a responsibility, two tasks. One, I was the chair or coordinator of the media team of the coalition, and also the chair and coordinator of the reconciliation team. That later metamorphosed into the Truth and Reconciliation Commission. It all started there. In fact, I was the one coordinating the impasse. You know, many Gambians, non-Gambians left the country, and they are returned. A committee was set up by the coalition parties. I was made the coordinator, and we were the ones who went around the country to the borders, went into Senegal, went into Casamance to see how the Gambians who left the country were faring and to facilitate their return. So we coordinated that. I was the chair and the coordinator of that process. So after that, we had the presidential elections, and then we had the National Assembly was coming. It never came to my mind that I was going to contest elections. And coincidentally, Mustapha Njie here called me to tell me that now we are bracing for National Assembly elections. And as Banjul, he had consulted with some residents of Banjul who are occupying positions of responsibility, and that they want to have the best for Banjul in terms of representation. They went a National Assembly where Banjul will really feature and participate effectively. So as a result, he himself, knowing me as a brother, would want me to participate in that process. And for him, he would definitely want me to consider contesting. And then coincidentally also, some members of my party, Pasih Jany and my sister Mama Sillah, after you suggested this, they also came and said, well, there are also swimming. Why would you consider contesting? Initially, I was hesitant because for me, it was never my ambition. I feel I was better off, doing what I was doing. But I said, well, I wouldn't be fair with the people I have been encouraging to contest if I decline this challenge. It's a challenge. So let me take it on. I told TAF, yes, TAF. In fact, before I talked, I told you that, well, yes, I will consider it. And from there, I consulted with my party and then, intimated them with your suggestion. And they asked me, what is your position? I said, well, let me give it a thought. I consulted my wives, my family, and they said, give it a try. And I told them that, well, I don't want to be unfair. I don't want to be unfair with people I have been encouraging to do this. So let me take the offer. But I also told you, TAF, that yes, we can do it. But we need young people from Banjul to also be on the ground. So I also identified Ibu Faye, who contested the election. That I once met with him. He is involved in this sport, football. And what I told him was that, yes, football is fine. What you're doing with the young people is fine, the football that you're organizing. But it's good for you young people to involve in politics. Why don't you organize yourselves? So I told TAF, I'll give you Ibu Faye's number for you to contact him. But TAF's organization was Tahawal Banjul. Ibu Faye's grouping was Team Banjul. So this is how Team Tahawal Banjul came about. So TAF contacted and it took off from there. So I can say that my involvement with politics as a political representative partly came from the suggestion you made to me in 2017 to consider contesting elections. Yeah.
Lovely. Okay, now let's talk about your chairmanship and CRAB Island TVET Center, which we really want to center the interview on this.
Well, yes, CRAB Island, as you know, in fact, the idea came when I was campaigning for election. And by the way, that campaign, Team Tahawal Banjul, particularly TAF, came in a big way in terms of support, financial and moral. And it was during this campaign, I passed by CRAB Island. And by the way, CRAB Island is my alma mater. I had 1 year stint there before proceeding to high school, from primary school. So, but I saw the school, I saw the facility. It was a run-down facility at the time, broken windows, vandalized windows, doors. It was virtually transformed into a dump site. And I understand that young people, made it a heaven in terms of camping there, not going to school, and engage in activities that may, make them to run into conflict with the law. So I told the people that I was going with that this CRAB Island, when I come into office, I'm going to do something about it. And in fact, it was there and then that I started telling them that this CRAB Island facility, if I am elected, although it is not the primary responsibility of a National Assembly member to do that, but I would take it upon myself as a duty and then do all that it takes to ensure that the school becomes, it's revived. But then I did not think about revive for what. I just felt that it was going to be revived into a school, into a facility to be training young people, for education, for young people. And after I was elected, in fact, the first initiative, 2 months after my election, I launched the CRAB Island initiative. I consulted, I said, well, okay, now I'm elected. And this was a promise I made. How am I going to make it real? I said, yes, CRAB Island was a government school, so definitely government must be the first port of call. And government is the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education. So I went to the Permanent Secretary, who is currently the Vice President of the Republic, His Excellency Mohamed Jallow. By then he was the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education. I knocked at his doors and told him that, well, during the election campaign, I saw CRAB Island and definitely wanted to transform the place. It is really an eyesore. He said, what do you intend to put there? By then I had the idea that it was a school. In fact, I asked him, why is CRAB Island, in fact, that's the first question, why is CRAB Island what it is now? He said, CRAB Island, well, CRAB Island, at some point, the roll of the students was more than 3,000. But at the time it was closed, the roll was under 400. So the ministry decided to transfer the students to the Gaba School, which is behind the National Assembly. And in addition, also in terms of performance, academic performance, the students were not doing well. The performance was going down, so they felt that if they transfer them to that place, they will, and that the school there, Gaba, he said, they were doing well, the students. So if you take them and then mix them, perhaps the performance would improve. They'll be encouraging each other. And then, but they abandoned CRAB Island. But lately, before I came, the ministry had other thoughts for CRAB Island. They wanted to transform it into a technical high school, to make it the second technical high school in the Gambia after St. Peter's. So that was the intention. So he asked me, so why are you asking? Why? I said, well, I really wanted CRAB Island. I want CRAB Island because I want it to be revived into a facility for young people. But this time around, rather than academic education, technical education, because that's a challenge in this country. Because then I realized that it was a challenge. People complain about having lack of skills among young people, that when they need the simplest things to be done, tiling, painting, fixing fences and the like, plumbing, they don't find Gambians who have the skills to do it. So they had to resort to non-Gambian. In fact, some of them, even take that narrow nationalist, the Senegalese. I said, no, for us, we are not nationalists, we are Africans. I'm a Pan-Africanist. But we need to upskill our young people. We need to provide them with skills, those who have skills, to upskill them by, upgrading the standards.
So I would say that was really what motivated you into it. But now let's just continue from there. I want you to continue, but just consider now what are some of the major challenges facing technical and vocational educational training in the Gambia, and how is CRAB Island Center addressing these challenges? So let's assume that now this motivated you to make it into to pioneer, turning CRAB Island into a TVET Center. But let's talk about now the major challenges facing TVET, meaning technical and vocational education in the Gambia, and how is now CRAB Island, a center addressing these challenges?
Yes, thank you very much. Well, TVET is facing challenges. Of course, the government has responded by establishing a regulatory body, that is National Accreditation and Quality Assurance Authority, to oversee the regulatory, to regulate the sector. And there's a ministry created which has purview over TVET, that is the Ministry of Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology. That's what government has done. And I think they are also working around policies. There's a law. When I was serving as a National Assembly member, we did enact a law on NACA, the revised law, which has given it all the powers to perform effective regulation of the sector. But the challenges all still remain in terms of access to TVET centers around the country. In Banjul, CRAB Island is the only one. Of course, there is one there in the National Assembly, Presentation Girls, but the scope is limited.
So access is one.
Access is one.
What do you consider as two?
Two is resources. Because it's resource intensive.
Yeah, education, financial
resources,
or human resources.
Human resources in terms of you need trainers. You need resources because it's resource intensive in terms of the consumables. You need to be doing a lot of practicals. And the approach at CRAB Island is that we are doing more hands-on because that is what we need. 75% is hands-on, is practicals. 25% is theory. The theory is there because at the end of the day, they're going to subject them to assessment. And in the assessment, there is need for them to be writing.
So
they should be able to write.
Financial, human resource. What else?
And of course, affordability, access in terms of institution, but also access in terms of young people being able to be absorbed, to be enrolled. So that's why CRAB Island initially started with our first cohort to offer them access free of charge. They were all on scholarship, and in addition to that, there was this element of motivating them by providing allowances to all of them. All our trainees we are provided with monthly allowances. Some, those who are outside of Banjul, transport allowance in addition, just to motivate them.
Great. So any other
well, and the young people. That is the interest. In terms of interest, it's very interesting that initially, with our first cohort, we only had guarantees for 175 positions. on offer, but nearly 2,000 applied.
Applied, okay.
So you can see the demand.
Yes, there's a demand, yeah.
But with that 175 also, down the line, it reduced to up to 150. So we graduated 153. When we started with 175, some dropped out on the way, you know. Some genuine, some inexplicable. Sometimes some people may not accept it.
Well, let me just push you now further. I mean, now CRAB Island has been set up. It's been running. You've had your graduation, and then. But what sets the center apart from other TVET institutions in the Gambia? Why does CRAB Island TVET Center stand out? Well, what's the difference?
The difference is that CRAB Island is a not-for-profit.
Okay.
One, of course, there are TVET institutions that are private, and that's fine. We need to encourage that. Government also needs to support the private TVET institutions in terms of capacity, because for the young people that are out in the streets, the out-of-school young people, the population is so huge, and then efforts need to be made by government, by any actor, the private sector, individuals like myself with such initiatives, to cater for them.
So it's non-profit?
It's non-profit. It's non-profit.
And what else?
And then we have been able to roll out 7 course areas.
Okay. That comes to my next question, actually.
Yes.
So what types of vocational training programs does the center offer? And how are they tailored to meet the needs of the Gambian job market?
Yes, thank you very much for asking that question. In fact, what makes CRAB Island different is that at the initial stages, before going into it, for me, I told them that, well, we are not going to be prescribing without diagnosis. We need to diagnose the patient first and know what the illness is, and then prescribe medication. So by that I mean, we need to first talk with the potential trainees to ask them the 3 areas they prefer. We did this. Ministry of Education supported the process. We had a survey around the country. About 200 young people were interviewed around the country, particularly in the Greater Banjul area, but I think 2 came from Soma, but the rest were from the Greater Banjul area, about 200 of them. And the courses that we offer are informed by the outcome of that survey. And then I said, no, we should not stop here. We are dealing with an area. We are dealing with an area where there are players, industry. Let's engage industry. In fact, we invited TAF Africa Global to that industry consultation. Let us ask industry, what are the challenges? What skills areas do they need? So we had that, and then there was also an outcome to that engagement. In fact, the late Honorable Sillah, the former Vice President, was the minister who was invited to open that consultation. So we did this with industry, and the courses we offer also informed by the outcome of that consultation with industry. So this is the uniqueness of CRAB Island. What we are doing, we are not doing it out of the blues. Ousman Sillah would sit there, or Ousman Sillah and his board decide that these are the course areas. We did this as a result of consultation.
All inclusive.
All inclusive. So they are the ones who determine what we are doing. Okay, and having that, like I said, we are offering 7 course areas. One is building construction. There is need for skills in that area.
Yes, tell me about it. I know that.
I know,
yes.
you know.
Yeah, okay, go ahead.
I need not tell you about
building construction.
We have plumbing.
Plumbing.
There's a challenge in that as well.
Yeah.
Skills gap.
All the pipes leak.
All the pipes leak.
Yeah, so we need to be trained.
Exactly.
And
electrical installation.
Electrical installation.
A lot of challenge.
Much needed, yes.
Much needed. Solar, Gambia, the future of the world.
Yeah.
Future of Gambia is solar.
Yeah.
So we also need to build expertise around that area.
Yeah.
And then you have satellite installation. Everybody wants to go home and then leisure at the end of the day, hard work, exhaustive day. You need to be entertaining yourself or to know what is happening around the world in terms of news. So satellite installation is also necessary to build expertise around that. And then, of course, the traditional skills areas for women, that is hairdressing.
Hairdressing, yeah.
They need to beautify.
Yeah.
Madam
Anita,
and her, folks would want to say, so hairdressing, and then tailoring.
Tailoring. You know, Honorable, I mean, having attended your graduation ceremony, for me, the takeaway and those who top the list were the tailoring side.
Certainly, yes.
I mean, those girls, those ladies on the catwalk and what they did was excellent.
Indeed.
So I really enjoyed. That's the most
really,
part.
the most
The
interesting
part
part.
I enjoyed most, and I think they need to be congratulated.
Indeed, certainly,
and
yes.
they were so passionate about what they were doing.
That's what
I love the paper dress, the newspaper dress.
Yeah, that's
that was actually the highlight.
Indeed.
I know the plastic. The plastic. I'm sure will be really hot. For this weather.
But the paper,
but the paperwork and everything.
Indeed, it was incredible.
And I saw the agility, the motivation they had in doing this. So well done.
Yeah, thank you.
But Honorable, I think we will pause here. We would thank you for watching the TAF Hub. But we will not let Honorable go. I mean, he has so much to say, so much to offer, that stay with us next week when we bring you the second part of it. Thank you.
Thank you for watching the TAF Hub. Until we come your way on our next episode, subscribe, like, and share.